everybody to Live Listen Erase. This is Chili, and Doz is with me here for episode 2.
We're back.
Fantastic.
G'day, everybody.
It's great to have you again. Just to recount the rules quickly, we pick three bands, and we get the options to listen to one live and one time only. We get to listen to one band for every day, and the last one is Erased. They're completely gone, Doz.
Get rid of them.
Absolutely.
They're out of your life.
Exactly right.
It could be a blessing, it could be a curse.
Exactly right. The main thing to also mention is our podcasts are on Spotify now, and we do have a YouTube channel of Live Listen Erase. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel to stay tuned to our updates as well as our podcast.
Check them out.
Fantastic. So, Doz.
Yes, I'm back, Chili. It's good to be here.
Exactly right.
Good to be back.
Good to be back for a second episode, I dare say.
What we did last time is, I think, when we started off with a bit of this, didn't we? A bit of a... well, that was a pretty weak open.
That sounds a bit more better.
That's healthy. All right, so cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so we know the rules.
We do.
We do.
We are ready to roll out for this one. I mean...
So, Chili... You know that not long after our last soiree, I had a brainwave, and I thought, I'm going to mess with your life.
How are you going to mess with me?
I'm going to make it basic, this like a tooth extraction for you. It's very hard. It's like having your fucking testicles in a vice. It's gonna suck. You're not going to be able to choose, and I'm excited for it. So,
yes.
Chili, live.
Okay.
You're going to listen to them live once, and then that's it.
Yep.
You can never listen to them again. Is that right? Am I right on the rules here?
You're right on the rules.
Yep. Live once, never again. You can never listen to them again, studio or live. That's the end.
That's correct.
Listen. You can listen to them every day.
That is correct.
On repeat, potentially.
That is exactly
just in there
right.
somewhere, in your day somewhere.
That's right. In your daily cycle.
When you're taking a nice toilet break at work, you can blast some tunes.
Exactly right.
Yeah, that's right. And then erase. So you got to get rid of one of these bands.
That's
and
correct.
I think this is what's really gonna pain you. So without further ado, Chili,
what do you got for me?
We got Live, Listen Erase, Gorillaz,
Ooh.
Pink Floyd, NoFX.
Oh man.
Does that hurt?
This is a tough list. I mean, an eclectic mix, but
it's an
a
eclectic
very
mix.
tough list.
Who was it? Gorillaz, Pink Floyd, NoFX. I mean,
NoFX.
We've got to take this back a little, walk this back a bit, don't we? Because I mean, like, you've got a bit of a history with all these bands.
These are yes,
quite a close history.
Close history, I guess, with all of these bands. I guess we'll take it all the way back with Pink Floyd first.
Yeah, that's a good starting point.
We'll go with chronological order. So the one that was about 2 centuries ago. No, I'm joking. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here was actually one of the most influential albums in my life, and nothing strikes me more than when I heard those first chords coming off Shine Your Crazy Diamond, Shine On Your Crazy Diamond, and
classic.
It was just like a jaw opener moment. It was just, what am I listening to? It's an incredible album.
How old were you when you heard this?
Oh, 14, maybe 15. I remember being up at the Gold Coast. I picked it up.
Nice. Oh, you picked it up?
Yeah.
You picked up Pink Floyd.
Picked up Pink Floyd there.
What are they doing up there?
I don't know. We went through records. We went through like a JB Hi-Fi up there.
I thought you meant you kind of turn that old Chili charm on our mates from Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Roger Waters walking down the street.
Well, he's a handsome fellow. I don't blame you. And you're a handsome fellow. I don't blame him.
Thank
One
you.
thing led to another.
Exactly right. No. I picked up the album, and I remember because my dad was like, "Oh yeah, Pink Floyd, they're good. Check them out." And I said, "All right, I'll give them a listen."
I thought it was a good reco.
Yeah, it was like $10 on a CD or something back then. Anyway, I pick up the CD and I'm listening to it, and considering the music I was listening to then, which would have been, Metallica.
Metallica, like we
correct,
traversed last episode.
Exactly right, which is also in episode 1. Check that out.
Shameless, Chili. That's absolutely shameless.
But no,
I apologise.
But no, like I was saying, I was listening to Metallica a lot back then, and here is Pink Floyd, this progressive rock band, heavyweight, just comes smashing, and my music just gets shattered to pieces, I guess, at this stage.
So you're like a pathway into a whole new dimension of music.
Correct. Pink Floyd was my gateway band into progressive music in general. From there, obviously, you could go into so many other bands that I got into, but
Porcupine Tree being one of them. Born to Canada, probably.
Rush.
Yeah.
Sorry, we did mention Porcupine Tree again. I'll do it again because they're just that good. I love Stephen Wilson.
That's for
Dream
episode.
Theater, all of those guys.
Nice.
pretty much links back to Pink Floyd. And I guess that would be the same for a lot of listeners as well. They are such an influence of a band.
Nice.
As for, let's say, we'll go with Gorillaz next. And Gorillaz, I was a fan since day dot.
You were. I mean, since their first album came out.
Yeah, I just remember listening to... Well, sorry, not listening. I saw the video clip on Clint Eastwood.
Oh, great song. That is such an amazing song, isn't it?
What is their obsession with bloody Clint Eastwood as well? Like, Dirty Harry's another track of theirs.
Well, he's a pretty fucking cool guy, to be
He's
honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to write a song about a cool dude, it would probably be Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Incredible guy. But Clint Eastwood was this awesome track. And, you know, I mean...
What was it? About 2000?
Yeah, about 2000, 2001, roughly.
A real difference in this. It was pretty big. 2003, maybe 2002.
No, 2000. Because I remember they had the track 19 2000 on the
right. Okay,
on
that makes
that
sense.
album.
I mean, and it stands in kind of pretty stark contrast for the mainstream sort of like alternative, I'd say, or non-pop.
Yeah.
I mean, you got like I'm talking your Limp Bizkits and your Slipknots and your Korn sort of thing.
Yeah, well,
top in the charts. You had Eminem, you had rap, you had sort of Linkin Park. You had those sort of trashy new metal bands that some of us might be fans of. Some of us might want to gouge our ears out, bleed to death. But
good song by Slipknot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is.
Gross. Yeah, well, it sounds certainly like it.
It sounds like
but,
it.
I mean, it sort of is. It's a bit like it's kind of mellow. It's kind of chill, and it's it kind of is a bit timeless. It's aged certainly a lot better than a lot of bands at that time. I mean, I can still roll back and listen to some of those amazing singles from that one. Just it's
Rock
really
the House, 19 2000, as I mentioned before. Clint Eastwood, fantastic track. Even the B-side from that. I remember getting the single, and the B-side was Dracula. And
nice, yeah, that's a cool one.
Yeah, it was really very like a very just chilled, scarish kind of thing.
Kids with Guns on that one?
No, different. That was on the next album, Demon Days.
Right.
And that was another incredible album. But you
Yeah,
got to
so
think, like you were
you got
saying
the-
at
yeah.
the time, I guess, you had your pop playlists who were doing Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera at the time, and
Avril
and
Lavigne
then you had the metal scene, which was doing Slipknot and Limp Bizkit and all those guys, and then here's this band that could. I wouldn't say they're going up to the heavy metal people.
No, but I think it did. I think it crossed over a lot of
it
people.
did cross over a lot of paths, that's for sure.
I mean, Damon Albarn, of all people. I mean, from Blur. It couldn't be more different from Blur, could it? I mean, I find it fascinating that Damon Albarn is so wildly talented on electronic mind space. So I think it's really fantastic.
He definitely created an enormous vision in his mind when he came up with the Gorillaz.
Well, I mean, this is what we got to talk about in respect of Gorillaz, because their live shows are something else, aren't they?
They are.
And this is kind of why I threw it in there.
Yeah. See, I have yet to go to a Gorillaz concert.
Of course. Well, it's not a regular occurrence, particularly not down in Australia.
No, I mean, here is a virtual band. How do you portray that as a live performance?
That's
I
right.
guess. You know, there's a lot of.
But it would be quite a sensational experience, I think, and to see a holographic band. I mean, and like
It would definitely be
they must
crazy.
be back in the back somewhere behind the curtain pulling the strings. Damon Albarn.
I always thought that if they could, I mean, we've got the technology now to do it. Looping back, I guess, to Pink Floyd here, I saw Roger Waters perform The Wall about 5 or 6 years ago.
Shit.
And
Cool
that
dude.
was incredible. I mean, The Wall, if you know about the live performances back in the 70s, their vision was so far ahead of its time they couldn't capture the true essence of that album live.
Sort of like the Beatles.
Sure, why not?
This is a point of contention that we're not going to discuss at this point in time.
Yes, we'll do it at another episode.
Yeah, that's going to come up at some point.
Definitely will. But
Digressions.
But anyway, with the Wall, he came up with obviously with the concept of building a wall on stage, knocking it down
Cool.
during the whole thing, and that was a great concept. Pulled off intrigue. You know, it was very interesting how they pulled it off in
Did
the
it
70s.
work?
To a degree, yes. But the thing is, if you've seen some of the stuff from the late 70s and then you go to the footage now, And when he builds the wall, all of it's done with like lightweight kind of
like
materials.
styrofoam sort of.
Yeah.
Just
And
in
then
case
they-
it topples and
Yeah,
kills
and then
somebody
they
in the band.
exactly right.
That's-
But then they also put projectors behind it, so they can put visions across the wall.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you know, obviously Roger Waters with his
Well, Pink
views on
Pink
that one.
Floyd, and it's interesting that you draw the through line with Gorillaz in a way, because I mean Pink Floyd really were pioneers in terms of making a musical experience, also a visual one. I mean, we know they used to play. Pink Floyd started out when Sid Barrett was still in the band, when he was still alive.
Yes, back in '67
and
on.
he had some cool stuff. His first album's pretty cool.
Yeah, some interesting stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty experimental in a John Frusciante first album sort of way, which I kind of like.
yeah.
More my alley than yours, Chili. But I
Yeah.
mean, they used to play along to. They used to do a bit of psychedelic dabbling and put some
Definitely.
lights on and play to it. That's how they started as a band.
Yeah, they
and then
did.
I think they went from there. And then they came out with they had movies effectively, didn't they? I mean, they
did.
you know,
They did
Beatles
soundtracks
it
for
first.
weird movies like.
Well, they had the Wall, but though I mean, that was a visual piece.
that was a movie built around their album. They did album back in the early '70s. They would do albums based around movies.
Yes.
So
Well, I mean, the Beatles were doing that since the '60s.
Yes. A lot of
Yeah.
bands obviously had
Yeah.
done that, but I mean, like, they built obviously The Wall is a movie dedicated to that album, made for that album. Like you said, also with the Beatles, I think it was Yellow Submarine or something.
Where they had,
similar.
they had the early ones that coincided with Meet the Beatles, and they had
Yeah.
Help and some 8 days a week and all that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Well,
If
some-
that's wrong, I apologise, and I'm going to have to seriously
Answer to
kick
some angry Beatles
kick myself
fans.
in the ass. Stupid beers.
All right, so
Okay,
but
the
the technology would be there in my mind to here is like put on like a green suit with ping pong balls,
Yeah,
and
it's kinda
that could
cool.
project
Yeah.
onto a screen.
I
Surely,
think that's totally dope. I mean, like, it reminds me of like almost in a Tame Impala way. I mean, like they came out in 2014, I think, with Lonerism, and they played, and it felt like a '60s experience. They had a projection of lights on the back. Very simple, very basic. But it just reminded me that I think that would have been super Pink Floyd style back in the day. You know,
Yeah, that would
get
be
into a
cool.
small room and just project some lights on there and listen to some tunes.
just old school style. Here
Yeah,
we
I
go.
love it. I love it. It's so you've seen them live. You've seen Pink Floyd live. You've seen the concept. You've seen the Wall concept.
Yeah,
You don't seem totally hot on it. So maybe this might be an indication of where Chili's going. But then, no effects, and then they play live they certainly did play in drag last time we saw them.
yes,
but which
that was
fucking
insane.
sweet.
They
Buddy, about 45 minutes of just sheer intensity.
As far as
Punk rock fucking they couldn't get any more
punk rock
Couldn't get any more
royalty
punk.
in my mind, Fat Mike.
God, isn't he fucking sick?
Fat Mike is probably the punk fucking rocker
Yeah,
of all
about-
time.
well, I don't know. Maybe not of all time.
Oh,
Maybe of all time.
I reckon he's
Certainly
up
of our
there.
time.
Yeah, certainly. Yes.
That's uncontroversial.
Maybe not even our time. Maybe before time. But ooh, look at that, another beer. But Fat Mike, in my mind, is probably the quintessential punk rocker of recent times. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, you could go back to a lot of people from the 70s and, see even the 80s with G.G. Allen was the ultimate punk rocker. Yeah, look, the guy was fucking crazy. No doubt about that. But to me, Fat Mike is up there with G.G. Allen. Not because he was, like, G.G. Allen is crazy, but Fat Mike just had that I don't give a fuck attitude.
I think I think I know where you're going with this, Chili, and I think that what I love about NoFX, whether you're obsessed with their music or not. I mean, you're pretty into it. I'm not massively as massively into it as you are, but his sense of humor is unbeatable.
Oh yes,
the band is just so it brings you along. It's just funny. He's just so fucking funny.
it's levels of humor that are incredible.
They just that devil may care. Like it really encapsulates that punk ethos. Like they don't give a shit about selling records.
No.
They just want to put on a mad show.
That's right.
They did, and it was awesome. But I mean, tell me about your. I want to know more about you, the recording stuff that you're into for NoFX.
Right.
How are you on their discography?
That's
Because
pretty damn
because
good.
there is live.
Yeah.
There's listen and there's raise. So
Raised, yeah.
what are we
What are we
listening to?
thinking
We're listening. What are we listening to if we're listening to NoFX?
Well, let's see. You got the obvious one is Punk in Drublic. I mean, that is their quintessential.
It is.
Yes, that's their
Yeah.
quintessential album that everyone goes to and says.
When did this come
That's
out?
probably the best. 94, or if I'm not mistaken, it was 94. Punk in Drublic.
Yeah, power punk sort of stuff. Pretty
yeah.
big at the time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Green Day sort of came out around then. We can reserve on our opinion on that band, but NoFX probably a bit more.
Actually, there is a funny story about NoFX and Green Day.
Oh, please tell me.
I was reading the autobiography on them.
Yeah,
on
that
NoFX.
sounds like a hoot.
Incredible, incredible book.
Yeah.
Namely,
Might have to
named
borrow it
The
off you, mate.
Hepatitis Bathtub.
Fuck.
I mean, this is also
This
from.
is the thing. So I'm talking about their human, man.
I mean, this is coming from the same band that named their live albums. I heard they suck live. You know, so
Well, I beg to differ. I've heard them live, and
very
they don't
interesting
suck.
live. That's for sure.
No, they put on a
But-
good show. Dude.
All right, so they're from San Francisco scene.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, did I get that wrong? I might be. But anyway,
We'll have to take that on notice.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
have to
take.
correct that on the episode
Yeah,
3. Shelley.
correct that. Yeah, if I'm
Yeah,
wrong, make sure I put a note
Yeah,
right
no, seriously,
here.
don't judge us too negatively. Don't do a downvote. Just put it. Just take it offline.
Correct.
Just private message him, berate him that way.
Send many messages. But
No,
anyway,
don't. He gets
but
bullied
no.
enough.
No, but anyway, in the book they were talking about how they came across Billy Joel Armstrong, right?
No,
So
Billy Joe.
Billy Joe,
Not
sorry.
Billy Joel.
No, God, no,
No,
not
I mean,
Billy
even
Joel.
though I love it, I
No.
know he's a
Billy Joe
He has a
Armstrong.
special place in your heart, I'm sure. Billy Joe.
Surely it does. Rebel Yell.
Billy Joel or Billy Joe?
Billy Joe.
Billy Joe.
Billy Joe. Okay. So one time they went to go see the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
This is NoFX with
NoFX
yep.
went to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They didn't know
Pretty
they were
cool.
going to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Right.
but they did anyway.
We traversed Red Hot Chili Peppers quite significantly in our
We
last episode
did.
too.
We did.
So if you want to know what they're like live, then potentially have a listen.
Yes, and this is back in the late '80s, I think,
Is it
before
about-
Mother's Milk era.
before Mother's Milk.
Before
So
Mother's
this
Milk.
is
So this
early
is when
days.
this is when Anthony would wear that mad power suit type of thing on the
Yeah,
stage.
this
like,
is when it. Yeah.
yeah.
This is, yeah.
So they all rocked
This is-
up in their van, and I think, according to them, they stole the suit of Anthony.
Right.
And then they brought it back, and they were pretty drunk after the show, and they just
Surprising.
like, yeah, it's surprising, right? A couple of punk rockers getting drunk. Anyway, they jump in the van and they just start flooring it down the boulevard, and next second, like, you know, probably 10, 15 minutes later, there's this banging coming from the back of the truck. They're like, what the fuck, you know? And sure enough, they pull over to have a look, you know, what have we done, blowing a tyre? They pull over the truck, tyres are fine, they open up the back, and there is this young kid, 13 years old or something, he reckons he was. Oh, shit, sorry, I got drunk before the show and I passed out in your van.
Jesus.
So they just let him off, and he just walks away.
Fuck.
Turns out that was Billy Joe Armstrong.
No way, you're kidding me.
Serious.
Where the fuck's his mum and dad?
Man, this
Oh.
is like, yeah, this is the 80s
Of
punk
course.
scene.
That's cool, man. Nice, really. So they
So they technically kidnapped him.
oh wow, he must be scarred from that. I mean, I imagine. Well, he went on to have quite an illustrious career in his own
yeah,
right.
yeah, he's had a great career.
All thanks to his experience passing out in NoFX's fucking van, which God knows what happened in there.
I could tell you, it's
Makes
in one of the other
eyes water.
chapters. But
Okay, Chili.
so
What
when
are
it
we
comes down to that one, that is damn, that is a hard one there.
doing? It's a noggin scratcher.
Yeah, you really stumped me on this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought it might, man. I thought it might.
I've been talking about all these bands, and the whole time I'm just going, how the hell am I going to answer this?
Yeah, it's just all been just a delay tactic to make a decision.
It has been.
You have to make a decision. I'm sorry. If I could let you get away without a decision, we wouldn't have a show.
The game wouldn't be fun without this kind of level of
Complexity. Yeah, it's got many layers.
I guess when it comes down to it,
Yeah, hit it with.
I
me.
would listen to Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Okay.
Their
Good.
discography is massive
Yeah.
and eclectic.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a good point. It didn't even touch on Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah,
Oh my
well, we
God.
could go on for
Where we could go
multiple.
on, yeah, we don't have the time. I don't have the disc space for this sort of stuff.
And look, we could go on and on about Pink Floyd. We could probably dedicate a whole episode to them. Maybe we might in the future, but
Yeah.
another time, another place, maybe. But listen to Pink Floyd. All right, that's where I'm at.
We're listening to Pink Floyd. That's okay. Well, mate, I think that's a wise decision, and you've set it out with good detail. Now, so it's becoming crunch time. The listeners, I think, is probably potentially the easiest one.
Potentially,
We're gonna have to cut someone here, and after if we can see them live. I mean, both of these bands. Look, this is the way the game works, and this is why it's hard. Once you see them live, you cut them off forever because you can't listen to them again.
That's correct.
And if you erase them, you can't do either. It's gone. They're just gone forever. I've got a feeling where you're going to go, and I need you to tell me.
NoFX gets erased.
I thought you were going to say that. I thought you were.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Maybe it did play into me that I have seen this band a few times.
And you've been listening to NoFX for. I know. I've known you for a long time, Chili. I've known you for about 25 years now. You've been listening to NoFX for, 15 years? 10, 15 years? I mean,
good 15 years.
I reckon if we had done this maybe
5 years,
10 years ago, very different situation.
You'd be correct.
Yeah.
You would be correct.
Yeah, okay.
I think the tables would turn.
Because you hadn't seen them at that point in time either.
That's correct.
In the interim.
And, for me, the ultimate punk rock show was to see NoFX with Friends of Rom. And I saw them.
Yeah, you can't top that.
I saw NoFX with Friends of Rom, and it's just like...
Damn.
Okay, and on that show, they also performed my favourite song.
Gotcha.
The Decline, which is this 20-minute long song.
Epic, man.
You know,
they've got a 20-minute song?
They have a 20-minute long song.
I didn't know they must have had a shitload of Adderall for that.
You can pretty much separate it into a couple of tracks, that one. But it's a beautiful track. And I just remember because at the very end of the concert, this guy was absolutely gurning off his mind.
Which guy?
Oh, this guy in the crowd.
Oh, whoa.
Look, the band members all do it, but that's that's a past life now.
Hard.
They're all sober now. But
good on him.
no, this guy was walking around the mosh pit afterwards when everyone had left, holding a shoe, just one shoe, above his head.
His shoe?
His shoe. And because I remember looking down, seeing a shoe missing, looking back up and going, I get what you're doing. There's a song called So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes, a reference to So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. And that's what he was referencing. But
how do you know?
Because I'm a NoFX fan.
No, that's pretty fucking cool. I mean, so they're getting cut. So then you're going to Gorillaz.
I am going to Gorillaz to see them live.
Grab me a ticket, man. Because thankfully in real life they don't have to be erased.
That's very true.
Well, erased after the concert anyway.
Yeah.
Well, all right, well, so okay, so what
we've
done?
What about you though on that list?
On that list, you know what? Yeah, you know what I'd do, Chili?
Yeah.
I'd erase NoFX too.
Yeah.
Because I saw them live, and that closed for me. That closed it off. That was a huge tick for me.
Yeah, it was.
I don't really listen to the recorded stuff so much.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, definitely not surprised. You're not in that scene too much.
No, I would like to reserve the right.
Correct.
But I can't because this game. That's what makes this game so challenging.
That's right.
Mate, I would see. I'd do live Pink Floyd.
Ooh,
and I'd listen to Gorillaz. That's what I would do.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
But
I guess what era
of
Pink Floyd would you go to? That's the other question.
What era?
Yeah.
Dark Side.
Dark Side.
Dark Side. Dark Side. The Wall, though. It's a lot in between.
I know. There's so many you could choose from.
I know.
Which one you would go for?
Honestly, I just have to go there and hope for the best. And I seriously doubt I would be disappointed.
No way you would.
So
no way you'd be disappointed on that.
So I reckon I've spun them a lot on the record. So I reckon.
Yes.
But and Gorillaz, I reckon that I could give them more spins. So I reckon that's where I'm going with that.
Good choice there.
Thanks, man.
Very good list as well with you there. A small intermission later. Alright, Doz, that was a fantastic list. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Chili. No, it was a pleasure.
Oh, mate.
We had a quick intermission. We had to refresh ourselves.
Yes.
It was just the intensity was too much. And on that note, oh God,
you gotta love that.
Shit.
We'll do another cheers for that one.
Cheers. All right, so it's now your turn to hit me up. Chili.
Indeed. Time for my list, Oz. And I think you're going to enjoy this one here.
All right, so let's do it. Hit it with me. It's going to suck. It's going to be hard.
Always is, but it's always meant to be like that, ain't it?
Yeah.
So for your live listen erased list, I have these 3 bands. I have The Killers,
Oof.
The Vines,
God.
and Foo Fighters.
Whoa. Okay, so, all right. Okay, I've got to... Okay, some context.
Sure.
I was fucking obsessed with the Vines in high school.
That's correct, I remember.
I would not put down, of all their shit, the second album.
The second album.
The second album.
It's good. You know what? Their first 3 albums are incredible.
I don't know. I'm not
that.
going to say that. I'm not going to...
You're not going to say that.
Hindsight's a bitch when it comes to music.
True.
But having said that, I'm going to listen to that fucking second album.
It is a good one.
I'm going to listen to it again.
You got to listen.
I'm
going
going
to
listen to it as soon as I'm done.
Oh man! As soon as
and it's going to take me back. I love that second album, man. I thought it was just. I don't even remember the name of it.
Autumn Shade, wasn't it?
No.
That was a song on it.
No. Well, let's. You know what?
You got to look it up now.
I'm going to look it up.
But you got to go with it. I mean, like it was a great. You know what? I mean, Doz is saying that the second album was great. For me, I mean, the first album was such a massive success. It was their breakout album.
That was huge.
Know?
They got the NME, I think it was the NME, or I think it was NME or Rolling Stone.
Oh,
one of their music publications. They herald them as the
Rolling
best.
Stones.
No, Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone did.
I think it was NME. And NME said, I think, pretty sure that they called them hailed them as the new Nirvana.
That's correct.
If anybody, I mean, I don't want to step on any toes, but Nirvana have probably fuck off. Definitely my favourite band of all time. So the second album's Winning Days.
Winning Days.
And it's been a stupid cover. And with that,
it was a really look, the colouring and stuff was very odd.
But it had Ride on it, and that song was so fucking dope. Like, this is just I just used to strut around in like a chubby, overweight kid with like in his braces.
Yes.
Like just thinking about all the girls I couldn't get. And it just used to be the soundtrack to my terrible existence. But it was colourful. It was great. I really had fun listening to the Vines.
Yeah, for us who maybe not have grown up in the 90s as teenagers, this was a pretty big. I mean, the Vines was a massive band,
and they were Australian. That's
correct,
the thing.
and they were from Sydney as well.
They were from near where we grew up, if any of all places.
They started off working in Macca's from memory.
Far out. I mean, and the third album, Vision Valley. I mean, that's probably a half an hour drive from where we are now.
Correct.
So, I mean, like, there's some context with that. I mean, to see a band from Sydney go on Letterman.
Yes.
And also almost fuck their careers in the process. But I mean, obviously they're the
mental issues were.
Well, I mean, like, look, I mean, Craig Nichols, he's well documented troubles with the media. You know, you don't really get very far when you're pissing off people in New York City like David Letterman.
Correct.
And then you're pissing off media by punching photographers in the face. I mean, but with all due respect to Craig, I mean, he's got documented issues in that respect. But leaving that aside, they were a lot of fun, and I mean, they did have that throwback quality. I mean, like we were talking last week about the Strokes. I mean, like I would have thought. I mean, in my opinion, the Vines were sort of like they was competing in that. In that space,
definitely,
and they do have. I don't know. The last song on the album is FTW, which is Fuck the World, and it was such a
Fuck the World.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna spin that so fucking hard after this, and so thanks, Chili.
See, I'm giving you an idea. Maybe you should go back and buy that on a vinyl.
Well, the thing is, if I see them live, though, I'm gonna get punched out potentially.
Well, that's the thing. There was a bit of danger in their definitely their first couple of years. I mean, this is an interesting little band here.
We haven't done much in a while.
No,
they don't have a thick discography.
They've got. I listened to some of their stuff recently, their newer stuff, and it's very forgettable.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's cool about them though as well. I mean, like they used to just like sort of rent a house or whatever, and just like play down in the basement with some really like sort of simple equipment and just like jam it out, and you can tell it's like really garage quality. Probably a bit too overproduced, way too overproduced in my opinion. But it could have been a lot cooler.
The second album you're referring to, or
both? I mean, like
the first and
I think so. Like Get Freeze, obviously, this their swan song.
Signature bloody
Yeah,
tune.
I mean, I actually rated Ride well above it, but they're very similar songs.
They are. Yes.
All right, so look, that's my thoughts on the Vines, and
Yeah.
I'm feeling a sense of warmth in my diaphragm just talking about it because it's such a nostalgic thing for
I
me.
knew that nostalgic string
And,
right
and then
there.
you got the Killers. I mean, like, I don't want to divulge too much, but the Killers, oh man, I mean, their first album, the Killers, there, man, fuck, that was a sick
Hot
album.
Fuss was an
yeah.
incredible album.
It was kind of like just massive singles. It was great. I mean, like, Jenny was a friend of mine. I mean, that's just such a cool song, and the bass line is so poppy.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they were massive when they came out.
Yeah,
Remember them?
They were incredibly huge. When
I
they
missed
did
the
come
boat
out.
by a few years.
I
I was
did,
introduced
yeah.
to them by a you know, like a
Friend of
little
a friend.
girlfriend sort of thing, and I loved it. I was really into it. I spun it for fucking ages, and I got Chili into it. In fact, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I was
sure.
going to say, I'm pretty sure I was on that boat as well many years after Hot Fuss was released, and I remember getting into them.
This is brilliant. You're just really delving into my subconscious here, Chili.
Indeed.
You're bringing out the young dolls.
Just a quick note as well with the Killers, "Smile Like You Mean It."
Oh, isn't that
one of the best tracks?
that was my all-time. That's my all-time favorite Killer song.
According, I was looking this up. Apparently, they wrote this track in 8 minutes.
What?
Yeah,
Man, that makes it even fucking better.
I know. This
I got
thing
a
is
soul, but I'm not a soldier. And it gets in that gospel fucking
Yeah.
chorus. I mean,
and that was sung by who were the backup singers from Aretha Franklin and stuff like that?
I don't remember, some Motown outfit that is totally dope.
Massive band.
Sick.
But anyway, they did the backup vocals
Yeah.
for that track.
Now, I mean, the Killers have sort of they were massive, and they had the second album, and I wasn't totally into that. And
Sam's Town.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool in a way. Look, but I mean, like that. When we're talking about bands here, that, like we've got like one sort of like catastrophically awesome sort of like one centerpiece album that's really I've just listened to on repeat.
Yeah.
Who's the third one?
Foo Fighters.
Fooey's. This is a lot harder than I initially fucking anticipated.
Perfect.
This is really difficult.
It's like this nice little kind
This
of plateau
hard.
where you're kind of going, I have to
God.
think about this.
Now, Chili, we need to talk about Foo Fighters.
Oh man, there is so much history on
The
Foo
first
Fighters.
live band I ever saw was Foo Fighters. 2004, Acer Arena, Sydney.
Was it 2004? I thought it was
Most sorry,
05.
might have been 05. Well, I mean, we're splitting hairs now, given how,
We are,
how
aren't
little
we?
hairs are around our head at this age.
It was was it
05.
in your honor?
It was In Your Honor, and they opened
With,
with
the first
In
track
Your
of
Honor.
yeah.
and it's that oh man, and it was so good.
incredible.
I was awestruck by that concert. It was one of the best nights of my life.
And not to mention Dave Grohl jumped behind the drum kit for about 4 or 5
He
songs.
called out a particular audience member who episode 1 listeners remember was a standout star, Lemmy.
Oh,
Lemmy was playing with
shit.
Motley Crue the day after at Ace Arena, and Lemmy and Grohl are good mates.
Yes, they
Rest
are.
in peace, Lemmy.
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
there in the audience.
Lemmy was in the audience.
He was in.
That's
He got
fucking
called out by
right.
Dave Grohl.
Oh my god.
And going back to the Nirvana thing I teased before.
Now I feel so much better that I know I was in the same building as Lemmy.
Wasn't Chris Novoselic there, or is my memory interfering?
Ooh,
Pat Smear
Pat
was
Smear
there.
was in the second concert.
and
second
he jumped
concert.
down and just passed his chick. And
He did, yeah.
But I was awestruck by the fact that I was sharing the same air as Dave Grohl and Pat Smear.
Yes.
And it was just, I just couldn't believe it.
Yes.
But that was when we got offered a joint by those guys, the older guys next. We were only 15.
Oh yeah.
And they never returned. They returned on the second last song, which would have been like Times Like These or something.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I was so awestruck. The next day, I remember I was having lunch with my family, and I was deaf, and I couldn't hear shit.
Yes.
And I was just awestruck. I said I just can't. I actually struggled to listen to Foo Fighters much on the record.
Yeah, okay.
after that, because it was such a epochal moment in my life seeing the Foo Fighters live, and
Is
it was
that
the
right?
best. It was one of the best nights of my life.
Wow.
It completely changed me. That was their live act. We saw them the second time, and obviously, like most people, particularly in Australia, because they used to tour here on the regular.
They did.
Most of us have seen Foo Fighters. They've got a special, and with their Beaconsfield Miners connection.
Yes.
They've got a very strong
That's
connection
right.
to Australia. Dave Grohl was probably the nicest guy. He called out his mum for like being supportive. It was
We
just
went
an
for beers with the
amazing.
Beaconsfield Miners as well.
Did we?
No, the Beaconsfield Miners.
The song.
They wanted an
I was
iPod.
going to say I don't remember
yeah,
that.
no.
Grief.
They wanted an iPod with the Foo Fighters
They
on
did,
it.
and David Blythe.
And then when they got out, Dave went and had beers.
and he
with
wrote
them.
a song,
And he did. Ballad of the Beaconsfield Miners.
which was an acoustic track on
Correct.
the other side of.
Echoes. No, I think it was on Echoes.
Was Echoes? Wasn't the acoustic side of In Your Honor?
No.
Okay.
No.
But look, Fooey's. I mean, you know what? I heard Times Like These in a pub the other day,
Yep.
and I lost my shit. 'Cause I hadn't heard that song in so long.
That is
I used
such a
to
good song.
tear around the halls of high school with my Discman, with that first album on it. With Times Like These on it, and like just one by one was the album. I think it was.
It was.
Which I'm gonna fucking destroy after this.
Perfect. I mean,
This is
I remember,
really
I remember
hard.
you gave me that CD because
Yeah,
I remember.
nothing illegal. You just loaned it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't burn it or
No,
anything
nothing like that.
No
No,
copyright
no.
infringement here. We're
Absolutely
completely above
not.
board.
No, but I remember listening to that and going, "Holy moly, this band, incredible!"
I mean, we got Nirvana's drummer,
That's
and
right.
he's got such a powerful voice, and this is really challenging.
It's a challenging list, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, I'm going to erase the Killers.
You're gonna erase the Killers.
That's hard.
That is a big one.
Because I'm gonna sob when I'm listening to their first album, Hot Fuss.
Definitely.
Actually, do I want to reverse this?
Ooh, do we want to reverse it?
I take it back. No,
Okay.
I'm taking that back. I'm erasing the
Ah.
Vines.
You're erasing the
I'm
Vines.
erasing the Vines.
Okay.
I think I've burned out the Vines. I'm burned.
You're not at that point anymore.
I'm not at that point anymore. But I think that I could get. I think that longevity. I think longevity is a question here potentially. Do I want to change it in my mind again? No, hang on.
We've left him pondering here, and he doesn't know what to do.
Okay.
Oh, Doz, what are you gonna do?
Shit. Okay. Look. Okay. Yeah.
He's got it.
I'm gonna erase the Vines.
You are gonna erase the Vines.
And look, I do that with any regret? Not massively, but then again, I'm gonna listen to like that second album after this, and I'm gonna be like,
Yes.
I wish I didn't erase them. Potentially live. I don't think they do much for me live. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to look. I've seen Fooey's twice.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen to Fooey's.
Yep. You're gonna. Listen to
I
Fooey.
can't delete Dave Grohl out of my life. He's just too important.
No, you can't.
I mean, behind the kit, man. I mean, that's enough to keep him in there. I don't want any trend to step in on an Nirvana toes either. I don't want to. Here's a question for you, Chili.
Yes.
If I were to erase all live thereafter, never again Foo Fighters, if I listen to Nirvana again, would it be without a drummer?
Now we're breaking the meta on
I
that.
know. We've really broken some walls here. But no. So look, I'm gonna see the Killers, because I think that would be like if they played, they would plumb the depths. I imagine if you saw them these days, they'd plumb the depths of their early stuff. And
They're a good band.
I
to see
think that
live,
would be
from what I've heard.
you go with a big group of your friends, and that would be just an amazing experience hearing those first album songs. I mean, and you just singing it together and.
That's right. It's a well-known band in that regard and highly energetic.
Highly energetic, but then again, that would be. I am regretful about that too, because you often go to a party, or you go to a pub or something, and then you hear the like Smile Like You Mean, or you hear
Yes.
some of their other stuff, right?
Yeah.
What's
There's got so many bloody tracks. Jenny was a friend of mine, of course.
man. Like she was a boyfriend. Come on, I mean,
17 tracks.
See, but that just gets everybody up from their seats.
Oh
So,
my God,
like to
yes.
be able to be everybody's dancing out at the nightclub, and I'm hearing silence. And that's making me desperately upset. Everyone's singing to it, and I'm hearing nothing. They're on mute because I've erased them. Well, I haven't erased them.
Well, yeah, you've
but
already,
they're gone from my
live.
life from after the live act. But I can't. I need to keep. Look, if I've seen Foo Fighters twice,
Okay.
I can live without seeing them again. But
Yep.
I can't live with them out of my life.
Okay, definitely.
But fuck you, Chili. That was that. I mean, I might well. That was very hard. I mean, look, I might have to. We might have to do an addendum to this on the next episode, Chili. Because I'm going to listen to these
go
bands.
back and listen to
I'm going to
them.
listen to them. Like, thankfully, this is just a hypothetical exercise.
Yes.
Because I'm going to listen to these guys after we shut off here.
Yep.
And I'm going to. I might well reorganise my experience. But
You might think about things differently.
Yeah,
Come back and
that's
go,
right.
You know what? That list you made for me. No, I'm going to change.
No, exactly. I mean, and look, I already walked it back. I mean, I've already changed my mind.
I know.
But this is
good.
This is the thing about this game. This is what I really love about playing this game, Shirley.
Yes.
Particularly with you, with your mates that you've known for a while, and you know you got with you, and you know each other's tastes in music, and hopefully that's a lot of you. It really gets you thinking about, you know, having a third input or a third party input.
That's right. 100%.
It really brings up those sort of memories and the feeling that you felt from music at a particular time in your life.
Well, that's right, and that's why I obviously picked the Killers and the Vines and Foo Fighters, all these bands from our high school times.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it was brilliant.
And in all fairness, when I mean, it'd be the same for you, I guess. When you come up with a list yourself, you have a lot more time to think about it. Obviously, I tell this list to Doz here. He has to think about it right then and there and come up with his decision. But when you make a list, you've had time to kind of mull over that decision and go, what would I pick? Sorry. And in all fairness, I only made up my mind yesterday on that band.
You
and
let
I've
it
had
percolate.
I had that list for weeks.
Yeah, see, this is it. I love it. It really, and you really get it. It brings a smile to your face. You're really just trying to make you try to force someone into a position they don't want to take.
For me, it was quite simple. It was Foo Fighters always came down to listen.
Did
always.
it? So you knew that.
I knew Foo Fighters would be listened because of the discography.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's a breadth of it,
There's
and
a massive.
and it's good.
It's a great discography.
We could crap on
know.
for days about Foo Fighters.
Yeah, and they do have a new album out actually.
Yeah.
Came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yet
I
to
think.
spin it. See, this is the thing about it. Listen, I mean, if I had to erase them or live them,
Yes.
what am I going to do here? I mean,
Exactly.
but Chili, the question remains.
Yes.
Throwing over to you.
Yeah, of course. So, of course, I would pick on Foo Fighters to listen.
So we're in agreement on that.
We're in agreement on that one there. And I was up in arms, of course, about
It's a hard decision
about the other
isn't it?
two
Yeah.
here. And I came to the same conclusion as you. I
Did you?
erased the Vines.
Right.
I wanted to see them so much.
Yeah.
Just because it'd be such a mad high energy
Oh,
party
yeah.
type thing.
And it's unpredictable. Wild.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but then at the end, I'm going, you know what? Hot Fuss was such a great album. You know, Sam's Town not bad, but the Killers live would just be incredible.
Yeah,
you know,
I think so.
I think I'm kind of past that point of the Vines.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, and
Yeah.
maybe their music hasn't aged as well as the Killers. I guess.
I think we might find out after this, and I'd
Exactly.
encourage you guys to too if you've got any similar experience. But I mean, Chili, let's have a cheers before we sign out because
For
that was a lot of fun.
That was.
It's a great game.
That is
I
a great one.
love this one. God knows what next time's going to bring. And
I know, right? The next episode could be a bit more complex. Could be different.
well, I mean, it's food for thought. I mean, and the more you play it with your mates, the more you'll be able to get really into their brain.
That is
and just
correct.
basically destroy it.
These lists are destroying
it's gonna
me
be,
inside.
It's getting into my dreams. It's going to be bad.
So I think that is a wrap for episode 2.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap indeed. I am Chili.
I am Doz.
And just to clear things up, we will have episodes out monthly, alright? And you know what, Doz? I got a theme for next episode.
Oh, we got a theme?
I got a theme for
Oh,
next
shit.
episode.
Alright, bring it.
I reckon for the next episode we pick British bands only.
Done. Well, that is too easy.
It is an easy one, but I reckon next themes, we can decide on different themes later. but
Yeah, okay. Let's do
British bands next week.
Alright,
next
well, you're
time.
on.
All
Another
right.
cheers to the
Another
British bands.
cheers.
Right, so I think next up will be around the 20th of April.
Roughly
Today
the
being the
20th.
20 March.
Yes, it is. We will bring it out roughly the 20th of April.
Yep.
Next episode 3 then.
Thanks again for joining us
And this
on
is live Listen,
Erase.
erased.
Thanks, guys.